Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how much money you're going to need to buy everything and to get started for the Gunrunning DLC based off of the new information, details, and screenshots that were provided to us from Rockstar a couple of days ago. So I'm making an updated version of this because you guys asked me like crazy yesterday, how much is the Gunrunning DLC going to cost? How much is the Armor Tampa? How much money are we going to need for the bunkers? How much money are we going to need overall? How much is it going to be required to get started? Needless to say, you guys sent me a lot of messages about the Gunrunning DLC and the cost of it. So I figured I would make an entire dedicated video to an updated version because I have talked about how much I think you're going to need, but that was way before we had received any of this information. And this gives us a pretty good idea at possibly the price range we're looking at here. Now, I was thinking about doing a shark card giveaway a little bit later today or possibly tomorrow, but I kind of want to hear from you guys first. If you do, let me know in the comments of this video. Be sure to drop it a like rating and also let me know on Twitter. I don't know if you guys want me to wait till the DLC comes out or do one before and do one when the DLC comes out too. So your feedback would be appreciated. Just let me know and I might do that later today or tomorrow. However, let's get into it and let's talk about the items we're going to have to buy, how expensive they could be, and more. So let's start with what I think is going to be the biggest item first, and that is going to be the bunkers. So Rockstar gave us not only information on the bunkers, but some screenshots as well. This is the first infamous screenshot right here. You can see how the bunker works. It essentially rises out of the ground. Rockstar's calling this the Los Santos Air Base bunker. Now, they described it as dotted throughout Blaine County are hatches. Look into these mysterious properties on the Maze Bank foreclosure site, and you'll find sprawling underground headquarters for sale. So one thing that actually has me a little bit more positive about the bunkers is the fact that we're buying them on the Maze Bank foreclosure site. So the Maze Bank foreclosure site is where we get our MC clubhouses, and for the most part, those are pretty cheap. I say relatively cheap. They're like $300,000 to $500,000, which is actually not that bad. So I wonder if the bunkers are going to be around the same price or if they're going to be closer to the CEO executive offices. I think they're going to be somewhere in between. My guess is that they're going to be somewhere around $2 million as kind of like a baseline. But I also think there's going to be a lot of upgrades that you can do to this place to make it easily upwards of like $4 or $5 million. So we've already seen one of the upgrades, I'm going to guess, Rockstar are going to provide to us, and that is a gun range. I don't think they're just going to give this to us out of the kindness of their heart. I think that the gun range is going to be an optional upgrade. I also think that like the weapons customization and upgrade facility is going to be an optional upgrade. There could be the potential for multiple different sizes and multiple different vehicle storages. There could be bunkers that don't have aircraft storage. There could be vehicle bunkers that only have 4 cars or 6 cars or 8 or 10. I think those are going to be the differences that make the prices of these bunkers skyrocket. There could even be a new custom shop in there that services these militarized vehicles. Rockstar went out of their way to say all new weaponized vehicles and a lot of other things that to me indicated that these bunkers are going to be very detailed. So that's my prediction. I think that the base price of the bunker, like if you just want to buy the bunker, is going to be pretty cheap. But to get it to be usable and effective is definitely going to cost you some money. In fact, Rockstar even state that the underground headquarters are ready to be stocked with new military-grade vehicles, weapons manufacturing equipment, etc. Ready to be stocked is different from comes stocked with. So I think that's a little bit of a key sign right there that indicates that it's going to be pretty pricey. So when it's all said and done, to just get started, I'm going to say around $2 million. But to really get this thing rocking and rolling, I am going to say around $4 or $5 million, maybe even higher. Who knows? Probably the next biggest set of things we need to look at are the vehicles. Now, I certainly believe there's going to be more than the vehicles shown off. We've only seen 3 of them. 2 different versions of the APC tank, one like an anti-air, the other more of like the one from the Ballad of Gay Tony, the weaponized Tampa, and that like half-track dune loader that was going into the bunker. So I certainly believe there's going to be more. In my Q&A video, I said anywhere from like 15 to 17, could even be as high as something along the lines of 20. And I think for this, we need to look at the existing prices of other weaponized and armored vehicles. So the new Tampa that they showed off, the weaponized Tampa, is armored and it's militarized. Well, armored vehicles, if we look at the traditional ones in the game, are typically in the, $500,000 range to $700,000 range. Weaponized vehicles, something like the Hydra, the Buzzard, or the Savage or the Valkyrie, are in the multi-million-dollar range. So that's where I think this armored Tampa is going to fall. It's going to be in the $1 to $2 million range. And just like some of the other things, I think it's going to have multiple sets of upgrades. We saw all sorts of customization, the ability to get 2 miniguns on top as compared to 1. So I think there's going to be lots of upgrades right there. Same thing with the Dune Loader that we saw driving into the bunker. I think that it's going to have multiple tiers of upgrades. And I also believe that since it's armored and weaponized, it's going to be in that same range, $1 to $2 to $3 million. And then the APC tank, I can see being one of the most expensive add-ons we have, probably $3 or $4 million, with upgrades that you can do to its armor, to its weaponized system on top, whether it's anti-air or whether it's more like defense or taking out infantry or stuff like that. So I think the vehicles are definitely going to be pretty expensive here. And depending on how many there are, if they each, range from $1 to $4 million, you could easily spend anywhere from like $16 to $30 to $40 million just on vehicles alone. Now, that is if you want to buy all of them. I know not everyone's in the business of buying them all, but regardless, I think the price range for the vehicles is going to be between $1 to $4 million, no matter what you end up buying, whether it's civilian or whether it's super militarized like this. The next big thing we need to look at is weapons. So this update is called Gunrunning after all, and Rockstar put a big emphasis on weapons. So they talk about illegal weapons trafficking, they talk about weapons manufacturing with offensive and defensive technologies, they talk about weapon upgrades and deep customization. So I think there's actually gonna be a lot of weapon upgrades that cost a lot of money here. Like, for example, we saw the one screenshot where the guy had like the upgraded AK, whether it's an AK-12 or a modified AK-47. It had like a new stock, a new barrel, new magazine. I don't think that's going to be incredibly cheap. And while I don't think it's going to be millions, if you decide to do this to 8 to 9 to 10 guns, that could be another $1 to $2 million you spend just on modifying and upgrading weapons, which is something we've never had to consider with previous DLCs. We've only had to talk about whether it be vehicles or whether it be properties. We've never really had to consider the weapons as something that's going to take up a whole lot of our price. But in this update, especially because it's called Gunrunning, I certainly believe that that could be a huge thing for this DLC. And I also don't think the clothing is going to be something we have to, dumb down either. Typically in the updates, the clothing isn't more than a couple $100,000 for all of it. But with this military gear, especially if they have armor capabilities or special features, that could easily be upwards of the $1 million range. So some of the things we've seen so far, like new boots, berets, sunglasses, military jackets, military pants. So I think this could end up being pretty expensive as far as DLC new clothing goes. So like I said, we'll have to wait and see, but I think the guns and the clothing are certainly something we cannot ignore here. Now, one thing I wanted to save to the end was the Mobile Operations Center. This in and of itself could easily be another $3 to $4 to $5 million. I've predicted that this Mobile Operations Center is going to be like a big brickade that's useful. The brickade right now is completely useless and it costs $1.3 something million. So a useful brickade with weapon upgrades, deep customization, it's massive and tactical, has research opportunities for our business. Who's to say that couldn't be $3 to $4 to $5 million right then and there? So again, that is just something to consider. This is something else that we haven't had to deal with other DLCs, a Mobile Operations Center. So we're going to have to wait and see, but I think that's just going to add another couple $1 million to our end as far as the price goes. And once again, keep in mind that this is probably only a handful of the things we're going to be getting in this update. There could be new features, kind of like with import-export, how they gave us the ability to change our character's look. There could be new things like that they introduce in the game. There's certainly going to be new vehicles. The price of starting up and operating your business, is it going to be like the CEO stuff where you have to buy the crates up front and then you only make a profit at the end? There's still a lot of information we don't know about, but I think the screenshots gave us a pretty good idea of just how pricey this update is going to be. honestly, I'm going to say if you want to just bare bones get started with the gun running update, so buying the bunker, buying a couple weapons, a couple clothing items, maybe one or two of the armored vehicles or weaponized vehicles, I think that's still going to cost you around $10 million when it's all said and done, just based off of how pricey all this stuff looks to be, and based off of Rockstar's previous experience with pricing military items like the Hydra, the Savage, the Valkyrie. It's a lot of what I'm basing off of here. Now, if you wanted to buy everything, which was kind of the main purpose of this video, I still believe that it could be within the range of $50 to $75 million. Now, I know a lot of you guys right now are saying, Mr. Boss, what is going on here? What are you even talking about? Well, with import-export, the total cost of all the offices, the warehouse, the vehicles, the upgrades, the clothing, that was around $40 million. And a lot of that was just civilian vehicles and regular clothing. What do you think is going to happen when all of this is added, but it's all militarized and weaponized? So that's still going to be my prediction. And I know it sounds crazy and insane, but I really do believe that $50 to $75 million will get you everything with this update. And I think that it's going to be one of the craziest updates, one of the most insane ones, but also one of the most expensive ones too. And like I said, this is just for the military gearheads that want to buy everything. You could probably get away with having $10 million to get this operation up and running. And then from there, you could maybe buy more and more things as you get going. But I do believe with the bunker, the vehicle, the guns, the clothing, the accessories, the features, that this is going to be a $50 to $75 million DLC. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it's less expensive and cheaper, but I'd rather get you guys over-prepared than under-prepared. So needless to say, if you haven't started saving up for this update, you might want to start soon because we know it's coming out sometime in June, and we know that it's going to be pretty expensive as well. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. How much do you think the Gunrunning DLC is going to cost? And how much do you think you're going to need in order to buy everything? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.